President al-Assad affirms that efforts must be combined to form Arab intellectual deterrent power to confront Takfiri schemes. Russia stresses that dialogue among the Syrian sides on implementing the Geneva Statement should represent the focal point in the International Conference on Syria. Brahimi acknowledges that the Syrian opposition is to blame for the failure of setting up a date for Geneva II conference. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our news for today. President Bashar al-Assad today received a delegation of the Algerian National Committee in solidarity with Syria's Steadfastness, which comprised Algerian political, media, social and academic figures headed by Ramadan Boudla'a, chairman of the committee. The members of the delegation stressed the Algerian people's support for the steadfastness of the Syrian people and army in the face of terrorism and the regional and international projects of sedition and partition, which target the Syrians and all the Arabs, expressing their confidence in the victory of Syria, the symbol of resistance and the first advocate of the Arab people's causes and interests. President al-Assad said the Algerian people's stance in support of Syria were far from being unexpected by these people who had lived an experience similar to a large extent to the current suffering of the Syrian people during the confrontation of terrorism. President al-Assad praised the honorable history of struggle both peoples share in confronting colonialism. President al-Assad affirmed that the events the countries of the region are exposed to affirm the importance of combining the efforts of the elite and the Arab national forces in order to shape an Arab intellectual deterrent power capable of protecting pan-Arab thought and confronting the external and Takfiri changes and schemes which target the Arabs' present and future. The meeting also dealt with the changes on the Arab and international arenas. The members of the delegation presented President al-Assad an Algerian folkloric costume. The Russian Foreign Ministry has declared that dialogue among the various Syrian parties on implementing the Geneva Statement should represent the basis of the International Conference on Syria to be held before the end of this year. The ministry said the participants in the consultations held in Geneva yesterday to prepare for the conference stressed the need of launching a political process in Syria as soon as possible, pointing out that the Russian side asserted its readiness to continue work with Syrian sides and Russia's international parties in order to realize this objective. The ministry pointed out that the participants from Russia and the US, in addition to the UN envoy to Syria, Brahimi, agreed to hold an additional session of consultations on the 25th of this month to coordinate regarding pending issues within the framework of preparations for the Geneva II conference. The ministry made it clear that the Russian side stressed the need to form an influential delegation from the opposition and call on all key regional states, including Iran, to attend the conference. The ministry added that the participants said some of the opposition members were not ready to attend the internal Syrian dialogue without preconditions to ensure the full implementation of the Geneva Statement. Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Gennady Gatilov has emphasized that a political solution to the crisis in Syria is inevitable and a military solution is impossible, adding that this represents the basis of the Geneva Statement and consequently it is necessary to exert every effort to launch a political dialogue. In an interview with Russia Today's satellite channel, Gatilov said, his country's stand is based on Damascus' constructive attitude that has often stressed readiness to start a peaceful dialogue and attend the international conference without preconditions. Gatilov added that the Americans were interested in holding the conference and were aware that a military solution to the conflict was impossible. Gatilov expressed his intention to meet representatives of the International Red Cross and continue dialogue with them on the humanitarian issues, adding that he had already met representatives of several specialized organizations working in Syria, which has allowed him to get an objective, non-politicized assessment of the humanitarian situation. The UN envoy to Syria, Brahimi, had stressed during a press conference following preparatory talks for the Geneva conference that no date was set during the meeting for the convention of the conference. He added that the opposition was one of the reasons behind the failure of setting such date. Brahimi hoped the conference would be held in the course of this year, ruling out the possibility of a military solution to the crisis, affirming that the solution was merely political. The Syrians are the main players in Geneva too. However, the opposition is still divided and so far not ready to take part with a convincing delegation, Brahimi noted. Welcome back. There has been initial information about a suicide blast in a booby-trapped car near Al-Omran Square in Al-Suwayda city. Several citizens have been reportedly killed or injured. Syrian TV news correspondent in Aleppo reported that Syrian Arab Army operations continued against the terrorists in the village of Tel-Ern between Aleppo and Al-Assad. The military operation started 2 days ago with the aim of purging Tel-Ern, the second largest stronghold of the armed terrorist groups affiliated to al-Nusra in Aleppo countryside after Al-Assad. Tel-Ern is very fortified and it has tunnels, ditches and hideouts planted with explosive devices. However, the Syrian Arab Army's plan to maintain control over Tel-Ern is very tight. Syrian Arab Army units also targeted the convoys coming to support the terrorists on the road of Al-Raqqa, Aleppo. Eight people, including 2 women, were killed and 50 others were seriously injured in a terrorist blast in Hijaz Square in Damascus. Police said that terrorists detonated an explosive device at the entrance of the building of the general establishment of Hijaz Railways at the center of Hijaz Square, killing many citizens and injuring dozens. The victims included a number of workers who were carrying out maintenance work for the building. 4 children were wounded by a mortar shell launched by terrorists this morning on Aisha As-Siddiqa school in Old Zahira district in Damascus. The shell left material damages on the school and parking cars nearby. A unit of the Syrian Arab Armed Forces eliminated an armed terrorist group that tried to infiltrate from Tel al-Haradin into Kanakir in Damascus countryside and seized narcotic pills and weapons. The seized weapons included a machine gun base-mounted on a 4-wheel drive car, sniper rifles, automatic rifles, BKC machine guns and RPG launchers, in addition to seizing narcotic pills and leaflets for Jabhat al-Nusra. Syrian Arab Armed Forces eliminated a number of terrorists by setting up an ambush for them in Abu Shamat area east of Al-Dumair city and confiscated an anti-aircraft machine gun and RPG launchers. The qualitative operation came as a result of cooperation between the local residents and Syrian Arab Army units, which succeeded in setting up the ambush and targeting a convoy of cars loaded with weapons and ammunition. A Syrian Arab Army unit seized a vehicle loaded with RPG rounds and stolen medical equipment and arrested its driver in the area of Wadi Barada. A military source pointed out that the confiscated car was heading to the city of Daraya, carrying weapons and different medical equipment. Finally, Patriarch Yohanna X Yazuji of Antioch and all the Orient for the Greek Orthodox has denounced the terrorist attack that targeted the Vatican embassy in Damascus yesterday. Patriarch Yazuji said the attack represented a flagrant, condemnable assault that targeted the voice of love and peace in the tormented Orient. Patriarch Yazuji joined call with Pope Francis I of the Vatican for the establishment of peace in Syria. From the soil of this land we have come out, and on it we will remain, Christians and Muslims united in bonds of brotherhood in spite of any assault targeting the people and sanctities of our Orient and its voice of peace and reason, Patriarch Yazuji added. With this, we end our news for today. Thank you for watching. For more details about Syria and the region and to view this bulletin again, you can always visit our website in English, syriaonline.sy. Now to latest business and market news with Vani Genjan, but after a short break.